In this session today we will be talking about swing tables, or how to create tables for using swing. So for that, first let us create a simple table using swing. Let me simply increase the font. Okay, so looking into this program, so this is the program where we have imported the swing.star package, as well as we are simply creating a constructor within which we will be writing down the code. Now first we will create a frame which is JFrame, and we are naming it as F. Okay, and F instance, that means JFrame instance, we are creating in this line. Next, in order to create a table, we have to consider two different things in this program. First of all, we have to consider the J table. We have to create an instance of J table, and this J table has two parameters, which has column and rows. Okay, so table has columns and rows, so we will be passing the columns and rows and columns as well as the data inside this particular instance JT. And how do we actually do that? We will create an array, okay, a string array with the name of data, and here we will be passing the values. Okay, we will be initializing this array. Now essentially, if you look into this, this is a 2D array with three different rows. The first column comprises of the ID, the second one of the name, and the third one is some figure which we have named it as salary. Okay, so we are considering the column as ID, the column names as ID, name and salary here, and we have associated with the column array. Okay, and then we are passing the in all the values, that means the value which or the value of the array, which have the values which are passed in the array, that is in the data array has been passed here, as well as the column array, which will be having ID, name and salary as the column names. Then we will be setting the bounds of this particular table, which is 30, 40, 200 and 200. Essentially this is the x and y axis, as well as this is the width and height of the table. Okay, we will also associate a scroll pane here, so that we, if the table is a big one, then we will be able to scroll through the pane. Okay, so scroller, we all of us have worked with scrollers, or we know what a scroller is. So in order to implement that scroller, we will simply pass the instance or the object of the table as a parameter to this particular pane object, and then we will be adding the scroll pane inside the frame, as well as setting the size of the frame, and also we will set it as visible, that means it is true. We are not associating any layout manager here, and we do not need to always explicitly mention it. If it is not mentioned, that means it will not be having any default layout manager. Okay, then inside the main program, what we are doing is we are simply calling the constructor in this program. So now let us run this program and see how it looks like. First let me clear this. Okay, so if we compile this java c swing table dot java, so let us first run this. Yes, so when we are considering this swing table, so what is the output we are getting? So as already mentioned, we are getting the output as ID 101, name Alok, and salary 90,000. Okay, so ID, name and salary, these are the three column names which are there inside the column which we have passed. Okay, and the second one is, these are the values which we have passed as the value of the 2D array. So this way we can create a table. We have to understand that in order to create this particular table, okay, we will not be looking into all of this now. So if we look into this particular table, you will see that these values and these row names, the column names, we can pass it in this manner. Now in my next program we will actually be looking into how, if we select one value, we can retrieve that value and display it in our console, or we can capture that particular value. So let us look into the next program, which is our swing table, but we will be using a selection mode here. Okay, so we will use a selection mode. So first let us run this program and see how it looks like. Okay, so this we will simply quit it, and then we will compile this particular program, which is table 2. Okay, swing table2.java. Now let us run this swing table 2. So when we are executing this, we will get this particular table. Okay, Amit, Jay, Sachin, and Amit, Jay, Sachin, they have 90,000, 80,000 and 70,000 salary respectively. Now if I select Amit, I should be able to capture the value of the row and the column. So suppose I select the first one. Okay, so the table item selected is 101. Suppose I am selecting this. Okay, so now if I want to let's say I'll run this again. Okay, so I'll compile it and I will run this again. So next, if I'm considering this particular item, so it is J. Next, if I'm considering Amit, it gives me Amit. Next, if I'm considering Sachin, it gives me Sachin. Similarly, these values I will get it in this manner. Okay, so this is basically it will display us the values whichever we are trying to select. Okay, so accordingly, let us first now look into the program, how it is being done. Okay, so if you look into this program, so here again we have imported swing.star because this is an essential package. Next, we are importing event.star because we will be adding a selection event. That means on clicking into that particular tab or that particular value, we are actually generating an event. So we have to import the event package as well. Okay, so now public class swing to table 2, and we are including all the code inside our main method only. Okay, so here we have created an instance of the JFrame and we are naming it as table Java table example. Okay, so let us simply name it as Java table example. Then similarly, we are creating an array where we are initializing the array with various values. Okay, 101 Amit, 90,000, 102 J, 80,000, 101 Sachin, 70,000. Okay, so these are the values which my table should have. Then again similarly, we will be using the column, the 1D array column, which will be representing the ID, name and salary. And in the final table instance, which is the JT, we will be creating a new instance of the table where we'll be passing the values of the data array as well as the column array, so that we get a representation of the table in something like this. Okay, now talking about the instance of this JTable. So we have used JT as the JTable instance or table instance. So this table instance is then added with another method, which is set cell selection enabled, which we are setting it to be true. Usually this is false and we are not able to select, or the selection is not enabled in a general table. But if we want to select and we want to create an event using that particular selected cell, then we have to set this method as true. So set cell selection enabled, we are keeping it as true. Now we are creating creating an instance of this particular interface, which is list selection model, and list selection model, and we are creating the interface instance as select. And here we are simply passing the instance of the table which we have created, as well as a method which is get selection model, and this get selection model will be having different methods within it. Okay, so those methods can be exploited by the interface instance which is select. So now what we can do is we can use select dot set selection mode. Okay, this is another method which will be selecting whether we are using single selection or multiple selections, and accordingly we will be using this interface dot single selection, because we are using single selection in this particular scenario. We are just clicking into one cell and retrieving those values. Now if we want to have multiple selections, we can go for different method associated with it, which will enable the multiple selection. Now accordingly, select dot add list selection listener. Now this is another method which will enable to capture the event which is generated by the generated by the get selection model, and accordingly it will perform some action by calling the method which is value changed. Okay, so value changed will be the method which will be automatically invoked when this particular method is added with the object of that particular instance, interface instance, which is creating that event. So after we choose to use add list selection listener, which will be able to listen to any event which has been occurred within that particular list or within that particular interface, immediately the value change method would be invoked, and it will pass the value as list selection event E. So E will be able to capture the event which has occurred, and it will be entering into the definition of this particular method which we have defined here. So what we are using here is we will use another instance variable which is data, and we are keeping it as null initially. This data is not same as this data. Okay, this is an array, this is just an instance string instance variable. Then we will use a single dimensional array for rows and another single dimensional array for columns, and we will pass the instance of the table which is JT with a method which is get selected rows. Now this get selected rows would be able to capture the event which happens by selecting a particular cell. Okay, so it will give us exactly the row number in which that particular event has occurred. Similarly, get selected columns will also be giving us the column number in which that event has occurred. Now we will use the for loop for it, because we have a 2D array and we need to identify which location exactly we have clicked. So here what we will do is for int I is equal to 0, I is less than row dot length, which is tree, I plus plus, and again we will enter into the column which is j is equal to 0, j less than columns dot length, j plus plus. Okay, finally what is the operation that we want to do if both the condition is satisfied? So we will use data which was initially 0. Okay, and we will convert whatever value we get here into string, because we are using a string instance variable, so we will use string. So what is the value what is the method through which we are getting the values? So we will be passing the table instance and get value at. So this is another method which will be returning us with the values which are there in ith row and jth column. That means whichever selected row and whichever selected column, that means the cell which we have selected, that value would be captured by this get value at method, and it will be converted into string and stored in data. After that we will close the loops here, and finally we will print out the value that the table element selected is data. Okay, so this is how we can print the values that we have already kept in the table. Now we'll also associate a scroll pane, because if the table is larger we need to scroll through it, and then add the scroll pane into the frame and set the size of the frame as well as set the visibility of the frame as true. So this is basically how we can select a particular cell and display the values in that particular in the console. If we do not want to print the values in the console, we can also use this particular data and get the value of the data printed in some text field, or let's say in some text area or some selected portion of the web page or of the user interface which you have just created. So this is the table example, swing table example, in which we have used different methods in order to select the cell for retrieving the values. Most importantly, we will use an interface which is known as list selection model interface, and along with this interface there are different methods which are used, like set selection mode for single multiple selections, and we also have add list selection listener as well as value change methods, which will be capturing the event if it is occurring, and then it will simply transform it into a string value and get it printed. Okay, so this way we can incorporate a table into our user interface which we have just created. So the next example which we will be looking at is the file chooser. So if we want to select a file in our system and we want to print the content of those file, so let us see first. So this is the example program, okay, and we will simply first look into how the program output looks like. Okay, so let us execute this swing file. Okay, first let us compile this java swing file dot java, yes, java, then swing file, sorry, yes. So here if we are clicking into file, we will have a tab like this. So it will open the file, open the location of our system where the programs are generally stored. So this is where my programs are stored. Okay, so what will I do is I will simply select one particular file abc.java and let us see what is there. Okay, and this content of the file would be printed in the same frame which has helped us to open this. So when we are opening it, so see, the content of the file is basically this. So we got the program here. Okay, now let us look into the program. So first, so talking about the first line of the program, starting from the very first line, so we have not included any scroll pane here, so we could not scroll it throughout the file. If you wish, we can also include the scroll pane. Generally it is recommended that we use the scroll pane, but here we have not used it. So first we will import the swing package, and then since there is an event which is occurring on click event, so we are using awt.event.star package as well. And since file operations, they are basically standard input output operations, we will also be incorporating the java.io.star package. Now the first beginning of the program, so we will create the class which is swing file, and we will be extending the JFrame here. Okay, so we will not be creating any separate instance, but we will extend the JFrame here and simply declare it, and it will be implementing the action listener. This we have already done in our previous videos. You can always go back and have a look at it, how we can use this particular action listener, or we can inherit we can inherit the properties of the action listener. So it will be implementing the action listener interface, and it will be extending the JFrame class. Next we will be using a menu bar. Okay, so if we are, this is the menu bar basically. If you are considering this file, so this is basically, it is the menu bar. So we are creating a menu bar with the object MB. Then we will be creating a menu with the name file and the menu item which is open. Okay, and also there will be a text area which is TA. Now what are its uses? We will be looking into it one by one. Then we will simply create the constructor which is swing file, and finally we will create the instance of all of these objects which has been declared. Okay, so open is equal to new jmenu item open file. So we will be creating a menu item using this particular object which is open file. Then within this particular object open file, open, we will be adding the add action listener method. Okay, so add action listener, we will not have a separate line of code for adding it later. We will add it with the object which has been created as a menu item. So add action listener, this, that means within this particular instance only we will be using the add action listener. Then we will be creating the menu with the name file, and we will also name it as file. The menu which is created here, it is file. This is the menu item which is open file. So we have created it accordingly, and then we will be adding this particular menu item inside this particular file. So how do we do it? File dot add open. So whenever we are using this file dot add open, we have already added the menu item inside this particular file. Now there will be a menu bar. So which is the menu bar? The topmost bar which you see here is basically the menu bar. So we have incorporated a menu bar here, and we are setting the bounds as x0, y0. So it will start from here itself, and it will move to the length of that particular frame or that particular window which has been created. And we will add the menu inside the menu bar here. Okay, now we will have a text area which is the area where the file content would be printed. So this particular area is basically the text area. Okay, and we will be setting the bounds for the text area as 0, 20, 800, 800. So this is basically because 0 is for the x-axis, it started from here, and 20 is for the y-axis because 20 is already taken from by the menu bar. Okay, so if you see the menu bar, it is giving as 20, height as 20, so it should start from 20, no? So 20, 0, 20 and 800, 800. This is the height and width of the text area where the things would be printed. And we will be adding the menu bar as well as the text area inside the frame. We are not exclusively mentioning any object for the frame because we have already extended the JFrame class here. Now we will have a method here which is action performed, action event E. So this method is automatically invoked when we have added the add action listener method. So whenever we have used this add action listener, action performed event would automatically be invoked, and we will be defining what this particular method should do whenever there is an action or there is an event which has been occurred. Okay, so if e.getSource, E is the object which will be taking care of any event which has occurred. So whenever E gets a source, and that getSource method will be giving us the source of the file which we need to open. Okay, so is equal to open. What is open? Open is basically the menu item, right? So if it is equal to open, that means if I am clicking into that particular, or if I am generating that event which is actually triggering the menu item open file, then we will use an instance of the JFileChooser class, which is the class or which is responsible for selecting the files which might be there in your machine or in the system or in any location. So int I is equal to fc.showOpenDialog this. So this is basically whenever we are trying to select, okay, whenever we select this particular open file, so this particular dialog would be enabled. Okay, so show open dialog this, so this will be enabled. And if I is equal to JFileChooser dot approve option, so this approve option would be that particular instance of the event which will be approving whichever file we want to select. Okay, and once it is selected, we will use another instance f of file which will be actually adding that particular path or that particular selected file with the file chooser class. Okay, then we will also be creating another object, another we will also be using another variable file path, where we will be using the f.getPath method, and f.getPath will be getting the path of the selected file. Okay, of the selected file. And since this is a file operation based method, we have to go for exception handling, so we are using try and catch here. So within try, we will be simply using the code which would read a particular file. So we have already done this reading of a file in our file handling programs. You can always go back and have a look at it, how it works. But here just let me simply explain. We are creating an instance or an object of buffered reader, and we are using the file path, okay, to send it to the stream from which the file could be read. Okay, then we are using string s1 and keeping it as null as of now. And while s1 dot is equal to br.readLine not equal to null, that means if it is getting some value, okay, if it is getting some value here, it is not null, then it will be s2, which is also null. It will be printed with s1 plus a new line, and then accordingly all the values would be printed. Okay, then we will be, what we will do, all the values are there in s2, right? So s2 will now be set into the text area whichever we have selected, okay, using the set text method. So set text method would be helping us to store the values which we have read and stored in s2. Okay, so s1 would be comparing that whether it is null or not. If it is not null, it will read it and it will store the next, it will consider also a next line with it. So s2 is equal to s1 plus a new line. So s1, it is already reading the value, also a new line would be there, and these things will be stored in s2, and after this s2 will be stored or displayed in text area using the set text method. Okay, then we will simply close the object which we used for the buffered reader class. Okay, and finally we will catch the exception by just print stack trace. That means we will be printing the details of the exception if it occurs any. Okay, finally we will be declaring and defining the main program, and here we will be creating an instance of the swing file constructor which is om, and om dot set size, that means we are setting the size of the frame, and then we are setting the layout manager, and we are not using any layout manager again, and then we will be setting its visibility as true. And also there is a method which is set default close operation exit on close. That means we will be exiting this particular program whenever we close this particular instance. That means in all my previous programs we have to exclusively close it close or quit that particular file so that we can come back or exit the program. But here we can use it, set default close operation, exit on close, and whenever we close that particular window, we will simply come back to our console. Okay, so this is how basically a file chooser operation or file chooser application can be generated. Now it is not that whatever you have read, it needs to be displayed here. Okay, s2 can also be stored in some other file, or s2 can, the contents of s2 can also be stored in some or displayed in some other file. Okay, so it is entirely up to you to experiment and check how you can do it. As of now, we have to understand that whenever we are using any file chooser, we have different instances which needs to be created. The first one is file chooser, the second one is file chooser and approve action option. Then we have to use get selected method, we have to use get path method. Okay, so these four operations or these four methods are extremely essential when we are using files with Java. I mean, we are creating any Swing application using files. Okay, so that is all for this session. We will talk more about it, and we will also discuss about the layout managers in my next video. Thank you.